Hey everybody, Professor Snart checking in really quickly as we continue with our course, obviously, and get really towards the end, certainly into the last section here where we're looking at the final essay assignment, but also beginning to develop some ideas and that kind of stuff. So as far as the unit goes, we're in Unit 9. I'm recording this on a Thursday, which is when 9 is due. But I'm just going to look at kind of what we have on tap here. So Unit 9, there's a lot of explanation for the final assignment, but obviously you're not writing the essay yet. You're working through the steps in that process. And the first one is to propose a tentative essay topic, which is what the discussion board is here. And so I realized that it really is tentative. So one of the things that I want to make really clear here is that you get full points for proposing some kind of topic and then doing the replies, basically fulfilling the requirements for the discussion board, but those points don't mean that your essay topic is necessarily one that's going to work. So in fact, there might be feedback I provide or whatever. So I know it's a little bit awkward, but I'm not really grading the idea that you've proposed. I'm just grading your participation in the discussion board. So it's fairly easy points, really. But do be careful that you don't assume that full points for the discussion board means that your topic is perfect. There might be some problems with it, and again, you might just be very early on in the process, so you don't really have it fully worked out. That's okay, but I want to get the ball rolling with it now, so that you do have sort of the full time left in our course to be developing the essay, not fumbling around for a topic for too much of that time. And sometimes topics come really quickly and sometimes they don't, but we do want to, keep things moving along as much as possible. You'll notice then that Unit 10 is, I think, a really important one for us. There's no work per se. Most of what you're doing now for the course is in fact writing the essay or the various steps in the writing process. But what we have is a quick discussion board then where you talk again about your topic. Probably it's a little more refined at this point, but also about your sources to make sure that we have the right number and they're the correct type and that kind of stuff. But also we have the opportunity for a virtual conference. So we'll meet virtually, although if you're around campus anyway, you can always set it up face-to-face. That's fine too. But lots of you aren't. That's why you're taking an online class, so we can do it virtually. The idea for the virtual conference is not just to talk about really general topic possibilities. If that's where you're at, then okay, I guess so, but really I'd like to be talking about a quite specific topic, a thesis, and even looking at a draft of your essay, which we can do virtually just by sharing the screen. So the due date for the essay is, right at the end of the course, but keep in mind that for this conference, the more you have done, even though we know it's in draft form, the more effective it is, because I'm sort of not grading it exactly, but I am drawing your attention to areas that are strong, that are working, but also areas that need improvement. Better for me to do that on a draft during our conference than that showing up in the final when I'm actually grading it. So the more you have done, the better. So keep in mind that due date is one thing, but having a lot of it together by that conference is another thing. So be aware of how those dates work out. And then the other thing that I want to say is in regards to a very common topic on Death of a Salesman, the play that we've read. And a lot of people will gravitate towards the theme of the American dream. And I'm going to tell you right now, don't write on that theme. And I'll explain what I mean in a second, but first of all, I will also admit that if you look up secondary sources or research material on Death of a Salesman, you find tons of stuff on the American dream. So I get why people gravitate in that direction, but I'm going to steer you away from it. And it's not even so much steering away from the ideas that are wrapped up in that, but the particular terminology, the American dream, is so kind of like overused, and it's so generic and it's so loose. It includes all of this stuff that we all think we know what it means, but the more you think about it, your definition is different than mine, is different than this person and that person. So it's not a very good way of crafting an effective thesis. If it's sort of a topic idea that's getting you into something more substantial, great. But it's not really suitable for a thesis. So if you've thought about like the play The American Dream already and you're sort of wedded to that, I'm not going to cut you off, but I am going to challenge you to change that terminology from just the American dream, the sort of spongy idea, to something much more specific, right? So what is it that you think Willy Loman is after? What does he really want? Is it success? Is it wealth? Is it celebrity, right? To be known? That's my personal vote. Because he doesn't seem to care about money so much, only as far as it can buy him stuff so that people are impressed by him. Right, so it's not just the cash he wants, it's the prestige that comes along with that stuff. The other thing that happens when you talk too much just about the American dream is you kind of are just invited to begin generalizing about success and money and all this stuff that maybe applies to the play, but maybe not. And in the focus on that really abstract idea, I think we often lose sight of one of what I think is really the most important part of the play, is the basic family dynamics, right? It's not about this big, grandiose idea. It's really about this guy, his wife, his two sons, Willy Loman's brother, Ben, who's in the play, their father, who is sort of has a big influence in the play but actually isn't there, so he's sort of present by his absence, if you want to think of it that way. And in my experience, so much of those really interesting dynamics get lost when people just start talking about the American dream. It almost means so many things, it starts to mean nothing after a while. So if you started down that road, again, I'm not trying to cut you off entirely, but I am going to encourage you to think much more specifically about what it is you want to talk about. Is it ideas of success? Is it ideas of celebrity? Is it ideas of being well-liked by people? So all of that might fit within the American dream umbrella, but you don't want to talk about all of that stuff. You want to pick something much more specific, all right? So again, keep on track with our course, right? Due dates, when you want to have things done, set yourself a goal of having a draft together by our conference time, and then on the other side of things, again, really think about that topic that you're writing about and ways to make it really grounded in the text, not these big sort of generalities, which is what the American dream ends up becoming. All right? So if you have any questions, as always, be in touch with me, and I will talk with everybody soon.